Where is your attention in this moment? If not here, in the physical, sensory world, where is it? Knowing it takes only a moment to establish present moment awareness. At times when we practice, especially during these times, often strong emotions can arise. Anxiety, fear, worry, concern, lack of control. And so noticing if when emotions arise in the heart, felt in the body, and including this in our practice, meeting and holding whatever arises in the heart with a kind attention. Aware of the naturalness for emotions to arise like waves, triggered by thoughts, the senses. And so holding our experience, ourselves, our heart with a loving awareness. And knowing no matter how strong the emotion is, it rises, stays for a while, and passes away. And at times you may need to ground and shift the attention away from the triggering emotion if it's too strong. Sense your legs, your feet, open your eyes, listen to sounds. Just orient in a way that's grounding and calming for your nervous system. Nature can be a tremendous support in that. Otherwise, continuing, listening, sensing, breathing, abiding in awareness. In the last few minutes of your practice, no matter how far the attention may wander, it takes only a moment to reestablish awareness here, body, breath, sound, or whatever else is present. And as we bring our practice to a close, sensing your heart, sensing the loving heart, and extending a quality of warmth, friendliness, a love to yourself. Putting a hand on your heart, sensing your goodness, and offering yourself a wish of loving kindness, whatever it is you wish for yourself. And radiating that outwards to everybody you know in your life, sheltered at home. May they be safe and healthy. And extending that to all those suffering with coronavirus, any other illness. May they too be safe and as healthy as they can be. And extending this wish to all beings, to all life. May all life everywhere be safe and protected, all peoples, all species, the planet herself. May all life be healthy. May all life live with happiness and peace. So this is the third time I've been giving teachings since the pandemic online. And it's the third time I've meditated with a group online like this. And I'm always struck how powerful it is. I was just, I was on a retreat myself last week. It was supposed to be an in-person retreat, and it turned into a online retreat. And I was struck how powerful it was to meditate with others online, to meditate and still feel a sense of community, to feel a sense of shared presence, to feel a sense of depth and stillness in a way that's distinct from when we meditate with ourselves. And so I've just been really appreciating this form. You know, we're living in these strange times, and what's also amazing is we have things like Zoom, where we can all jump on a call, people calling in from Canada and from Minnesota and New York and Italy and who knows where else. I'm just kind of doing a quick scan here where I'm recognizing people calling in from central Canada and all over, and the Bay Area and LA and the East Coast. And we can practice together and feel each other's support and support our mutual practice. And I think it's incredibly important, given the extent of social distancing and the isolation that brings and the lack of community and support, that it's really vital that we actually come together and practice together and feel the sweetness and the depth of that. So I wanted to share a poem by John O'Donohue called For the Senses, and it's a poem that I think, and I'll be reading poetry every day that speaks to this nature-based sensory practice. He says, "May the touch of your skin register the beauty of the otherness that surrounds you. May your listening be attuned to the deeper silence where sound is honed to bring distance home. May the fragrance of a breathing meadow refresh your heart and remind you you are a child of the earth. And when you partake of food and drink, may your tastes quicken to the gift and sweetness that flows from this earth. May your inner eyes see through the surfaces and glean the real presence of everything that meets you. And may your soul beautify the desire of your eyes, and may you glimpse the infinity that hides in the simple sights that seem worn to your usual eyes." So, so here we are. I was out yesterday. So where I'm living, which is in Marin County, which is renowned for its beauty, and it's, I think, the county has one of the highest percentages of open space. I think it's like 60% of the land here is open, as in you can, means park, land, state park, national park. And so it's a delight to live here because of that access. I can walk out my front door and be in open space in 10, 15 minutes. And but because of the shelter at home restrictions, and because people were abusing the social distancing, all of the parks have been closed. So the only way I've found to access them is on my bike, because they haven't closed the roads, and I can keep pretty safe social distancing on the roads out in West Marin, where it's very quiet right now. So I was out riding yesterday, I think it was yesterday, and I came across a recent fire burn. There was a fire last year during the intense fire season, and the whole hillside was just charred, and all the hills, all the woodland and shrub and small trees were charred. It was like a graveyard of a forest. And then on the ground cover had started to sprout with the recent rains that we've had. And it was the ground underneath these charred, looked like madrones and manzanita, were this carpet of beautiful yellow flowers. I couldn't identify what the flowers were, but just this dazzling green leaves and then these beautiful golden yellow flowers. And I thought, what a great juxtaposition and metaphor for where we are. You know, we're in the middle of a forest fire right now, globally, with the pandemic and the tragedy that's ripping through communities and countries, and the medical, the health world, healthcare community. And I found that image and that reflection from nature, which I do so often, very profound, that even in the midst of the charred ground, that beauty is arising, that regeneration happens, and beauty is still to be found. And one of the things that I've been teaching about is the importance of staying balanced. It's very easy during these times to feel overwhelmed, to feel doom and gloom, to feel scared, to feel anxious, to feel afraid, to feel paralyzed because you can't reach out to friends, relatives, those in need because of the social isolation need. And so there's a lot of very difficult emotions. And if we're attending to the media, there's a lot of intense stuff in the media. And I think it's essential that we both attend to that and we stay informed, and we also take care of ourselves. And that we stay balanced, we stay nourished, we stay grounded, we stay mindful of what we're doing with our attention. And what we do with our attention has tremendous impact. And if all we're doing is 24/7 reading scary news, of course we're going to be triggered and activated and afraid. If we let our mind run its fearful catastrophe scenarios, we'll also be whipped up into a sense of terror. And so we have to be really mindful. What am I doing with my attention day by day? What is skillful? When is it skillful to listen to the news? I don't listen to the news. I read the news because there's more agency about what I choose to attend to. I don't watch the news. And I'm mindful when it's like, okay, enough. I get up in the morning, find out what's happening, if there's anything that needs to happen locally. And then I get on with my day doing this kind of work. So, and nature provides a beautiful respite and resource for our attention. Okay. There's so much beauty. Right now it's spring, so I'm taking walks around my neighborhood as a counterpoint to staring at my screen, which I'm doing, as I'm sure you are all doing a lot, both whether it's the news or your work or staying, Zoom meetings with family and friends. It's a lot of screen time, right? So also to be mindful of, get off the screen, look outside, go in the garden, walk around your neighborhood. And what I do is I sink my face into the the blossoms that are all around. Right now it's the jasmine blossom and apple blossom and a whole amount of different flowering beauties, and to take that in, to let our attention be saturated with beauty, with color, with emergence, with spring, right? Because that's as true as people dying in our neighborhoods. Both are true. Right? And if we only attend to one, it's imbalanced. We can't ignore the tremendous amount of suffering. And if that's all that we attend to, it's hard to actually be resilient and responsive. We need to be resilient in these times. This is a marathon we're in. How do you stay nourished? How do I stay nourished so I can actually be of service to people and do this kind of call, right? So I'm mindful of that, and I tend to that partly through making sure I'm balanced with my attention. So I'll share more through the days about nature practice. But it's as simple as opening your eyes and your ears and your skin and turning your attention to what's around. Of course, not all of you live in beautiful natural places. Some of you are probably downtown New York or Brooklyn or I'm trying to see where else, LA and other places, right? But there's probably a tree somewhere not far from you. Right? Looking out your window, you can see the sky, hopefully, or clouds, or the colors of sunrise or the sunset, right? Or even a plant on your desk. Something, I have an orchid plant on my desk. I look at that orchid a lot as the sign of the miraculousness of nature and of life and the beauty that's always available if we pay attention. So we have about 10 minutes. I wanted to just open it up to see if anybody wanted to share anything or had a question for me about practice, particularly about nature practice. I'm just checking the chat box here. There's a lot of things here. So I'm not seeing any direct questions, but you can raise your hand. If you go to participants, when you click that button, and then it pulls up a screen, a box on the right, and you'll be a thing that says raise hand. And that will show me someone raises their hand. If you want to share, okay, Kelly has her hand raised. Okay. So Kelly, please.
I guess I'm wondering if you can share how you're relating to climate change. Because I've, previously felt like I've been able to sit with it, and now I just go there and I get triggered, and it's really hard, and I am like not wanting to even talk about it, even ask this question about it, because it just feels so bigger than what's happening now, and that it's getting lost in the background. And that I guess I feel a lot more pain about climate change now than I have ever felt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's a very good reflection. It's true. It is lost for the most part. I mean, mostly the only references I hear of it are in relationship to now that global industrial activity has declined massively and flights and transportation has declined, that climate is very naturally quickly cleaning itself up momentarily, temporarily, right? The waters in Venice and the skies and pollution levels in China and LA and whatnot. and and then that raises the question, what would happen if we actually took climate change seriously and radically stopped so much of our activity in the same way that we're doing in response to COVID-19? And of course, that is unlikely to happen anytime soon, although we're seeing what happens if we do. Right? It's radical how quickly nature rebounds. I take a little hope in that when we do finally wake up as a species, and different cultures wake up and start slowing down some of the harmful activity, that the planet will start breathing and regenerating. And I also take heart in seeing how we can respond as a species and as a global community to a crisis. And this happens to be about our own health. I'm getting rained on my deck. This happens to be about responding to a virus, not climate change, but it does show that we can do it. And that gives me hope. That's where I'm putting my attention. I think it's important for those of us who care about the climate crisis to keep reminding people about that in whatever small and large way that we do, right? So it doesn't disappear off people's radar. And naturally, it's also a great juxtaposition. The reason why we don't respond to climate change in the same way we respond to the pandemic virus is because the virus is an immediate threat. It's right. You're either, you can get it buying a pint of milk in the grocery store. So it feels very immediate, that the brain is designed for responding to immediate threat. Even though climate change is a very immediate threat, it's not as visibly apparent. And so it's harder for us to, unless you're really informed, to keep it so forefront as if the house is on fire. And that's part of the practice. So thanks, Kelly. More to be said about that. Yeah. Anybody else? Question about practice, nature practice, taking your meditation outside, using nature as a support for these times? And I'll see if there's anything in the chat box. Patricia. Can you unmute yourself, Patricia? Where are you? Let me see. I'm not seeing your raised hand. Can you raise your hand, Patricia? There you go. Thank you. Okay, let's unmute you. Thanks.
Okay.
Yes, please. We only have a few minutes, but yes, time for a quick question.
Yeah. Well, what I want to share is positive from a walk I took yesterday. And at this time, I am walking with a walker through my neighborhood. And there was the most beautiful ginkgo tree with teeny weeny little buds starting teeny weeny little ginkgo leaves, which are in the shape of fans and happen to be one of my favorite trees in the Bay Area. And I just stood there with great admiration.
Yeah.
And thank you for joining all of us together today.
Thank you, Patricia. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Yeah, it's powerful. You know, nature is shouting from the treetops its beauty, its potency, its gifts. And, you know, why I do the work that I do, integrating mindfulness and nature, is our practice of cultivating awareness helps us be more present, helps us be more wakeful, and helps us attend to what's here, both the tragedy and how we can respond with care and compassion, but also how we can also attend to what else is here. You know, one of the things that's particularly important when we're stressed, when we're activated and triggered, as well as attending kindly to that, is also asking what else is here? What else is here? Yes, there's a crisis. And there is also beauty. There's also nature. There is spring. There is community. There's people who care. Right? So remembering that, remembering nature's all around, remembering the goodness of your practice and how your practice can support you during these times, how we can come together during these times here and in all the other beautiful offerings that are available. So I want to thank you for coming today. Very beautiful to be with you. And we'll be doing this every morning at 7 a.m. Pacific time. I think tomorrow is another lovely, cloudy, rainy day here in California. So we'll be listening. I hope you can hear a little bit of the pitter-patter of the rain and the bird song. And anyhow, lovely to see you. Thank you for coming. And I will see you tomorrow. Okay, take care. I'll ring the bell to guide us out. Thanks, everybody.